Hey everyone, welcome back to another live broadcast. We have some exciting stuff planned for you today, and we do have a new guest on with us for the first time ever, Kelly Walter. So Kelly, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself while people are joining on.
Hello. Nice to see everyone. I have been with Stalls for 3.5 years, and my main position with Stalls has been an account manager, where I've had 6 to 7 different states, and just really taking care of our customers, going in and visiting, helping with education, and of course any type of opportunities that may arise. My main background is more in the spirit side of the world, on band and dance and cheer, but sports is very much a part. So I've been doing that. But yeah, so here I am helping Jenna out with education and some content, and it's gonna be a fun day.
Yeah, for sure. So what we have planned for you guys today is we're going to get into some different projects. Kelly's going to present on the project that she came up with. And whenever we met last week, we were just kind of trying to wrap our brains on what we wanted to present on. And the one thing that we both really love working with is our patterns. Because you can just get like really creative with that. So we were trying to figure out, what would be the best pattern to use for this project in all the different ways that you can utilize our pattern. So Kelly is actually going to show you a spirit wear style, more garment and accessory side of working with the pattern heat transfer vinyl, and then I'm going to get a little bit more crafty and use the sign vinyl and the sublimation. So in addition to working with the patterns, we're also going to be showcasing new colors of our most popular heat transfer vinyls. The first one being UltraWeed, which Kelly is going to be working with today, and then I'm going to showcase our brand new glitter flake colors that are perfect for the fall season. So without further ado, this is the pattern that we went with. And this is called a buffalo weave pattern. And what I absolutely love about this pattern is, even though if you're working with the matte express print pattern style, it still looks very textured because it's just how the pattern is created. So you can see that it looks more like a weave or a fabric as opposed to just a flat, matte, digitally printed image. So Kelly, do you want to start us off with our first project?
Sure. Okay, so I chose to do a crew sweatshirt because crew sweatshirts are extremely popular. I would say I see more crew necks in the retail world versus hoodies. They're still out there, but crew necks are everywhere, from slouchy to longer tunic, even kind of like a wider boat neck or off the shoulder. So I chose this. This is actually by Hanes, and I have never felt something softer. It is a garment dyed. It's extremely movable. It doesn't feel starchy like some sweatshirts can feel, especially the fluffier that they get. So I just chose a gray. And then to tie in the two logos, I chose a gray fleece blanket. So this is a very large one. It's a 50 by 60 or 50 by 70. So you'll get to see a little bit larger logo go on this. And then we are going to do just a simple letter with some script writing on this one as well. We are going to use this plaid pattern, and you guys, this is awesome. Jenna and I were actually just kind of diving into this, and it really looks like there's about 5 to 6 colors in the pattern that really bring out the texture. So it's deceiving without seeing it in person. And then we're going to use our new Kelly Green UltraWeed. And then, of course, we're going to use our black UltraWeed on the blanket. So the sweatshirt will be a 2-color design or 2 application design. And then the blanket will be 3 applications. So Really fast, I'm going to show you the artwork and then get cutting. That way Jenna can go over hers. So I'll let Jenna flip the, flip the screen. Okay,
there we go.
One thing that I have noticed has really been coming back into the world of graphics, especially for spiritware, is a simple block letter using, an athletic font and then putting the script of something, whether it's the mascot, the school name. You could use a variety of different phrases on this. So as you can see, it's natural for me to go into the computer. But you can see the J has the plaid with the outline of, did I do Jasper? No, bulldogs. And then the blanket is going to get the Jasper with the lines, the bulldogs, and then we're just going to do a simple plaid paw on there. Because the font's going to be so big, I just could have ran with buffalo plaid all over this blanket, but I really wanted to show how you could make it a focal point and then more of an accent point, whether you're using it for a t-shirt, blanket, even a ball cap. So I'm going to start loading my material and I'll get cutting. I got some big pieces to cut.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to visit the comment section. So we have people from all over. I know you can't get too close to see the comments. There you are.
Let me go. I'm going to switch over.
But we have people from South Africa, Ethiopia, United Kingdom. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names and faces joining us from YouTube and Facebook. Some of those loyal viewers that are typically on with us all the time. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for commenting in. And thank you so much for our team members that are on with us, sharing links and just letting you know what products we're going to be using throughout. So the product that Kelly's getting ready to load now is UltraWeed. And if you didn't get a chance to join the live on Tuesday, where we reviewed all of the new colors that just launched in that new favorite go-to heat transfer vinyl that everybody's loving, Kelly is one of them. So not only was Kelly added, but also Vegas Gold, Pumpkin Orange, and Pale Yellow. All right, so those are the 4 new colors that were just added to UltraWeed, and we're going to continue to bulk up the color range and varieties there for that product. Nope.
Okay. I'm just going to do a test cut because I just changed my cutting script on this, so I just want to make sure it's all correct. Then if you want to keep going, you can, or unless you want me to run.
Oh, no, go for it. Let's tell them a little bit about the vinyl cutter that you're using and kind of like your force and stuff for UltraWeed, just in case we have some viewers that haven't had a chance to work with it yet.
Sure. So this, I'm not trying to talk about it. Hold on. Oh, I'm getting close. Oh, live with Jenna popped up. Guys, forgive me for getting so close. My computer is working. So, okay, while this is running, if I don't hear you, Jenna, then I'll have you. Please restate the question. But I am using a Roland GS24. Right now, I just put our UltraWeed in here. I had to cut a little piece off. I pulled too hard on the sticky for the roll. So I'm just going to do a test cut with this scrap piece of paper, vinyl. And then I will start cutting because I'm doing the same colors for 2 designs. I'm going to go ahead and try to just cut it all at once if I can make it work. So bear with me.
Are you going to be using vector cut to send the designs to cut?
I am. So I use CAD-CUT Live and then I send everything to vector cut. That way all I have to do is just hit a little button and it just sends my art. I don't have to upload anything. I could rearrange my layout a little bit better on CADWorks. That way it sends, but sometimes I just move it around because if I'm going to go from a 15 to a 20 inch, then it's just easier for me to control it in vector cut. Let's see it. Now,
We're getting some comments in of people that have the Roland and absolutely love it. Purple Heart says they so want that cutter. Yeah, I feel you there because I've been working with the small little craft cutters, which happened to be one of the cutters that I actually learned on was the Roland. And then I also learned the Graph Tech. So I absolutely fell in love with those cutters because they worked so fast. And then I had to learn these cutters. So whenever I first started working with the craft cutters, I honestly thought that I was working with a broken cutter because I just was not used to how slow they ran or how loud the motor sounded. And that is actually a popular experience. I've heard a lot of people say that that had started with larger cutters and then downsized. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one there.
it's funny because there's times where I have to cut something, like, I want to go just a little bit faster, but only because it's a really, really detailed design. If it's a simple line, you know, then it's done quick. But I do like a graph tag. I've just been working with, I think, the DS24 for quite some time. Okay, I'm going to get really close to pull up.
Do your thing. We're not worried about it.
So weird. Okay,
100% Cassandra, 100%. They definitely get the job done.
Okay, so I'm going to send to Vector Cut. Or do you have this up? Do you want to pull this up?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay, so this is my screen. I just went ahead and took this Jasper Bulldog and stacked it on top of a J, just so I could kind of get a better idea of what I'm working with. And then down here where it says send to Vector Cut, I just click on that, hit OK. Let's see, pop that puppy up. And then it takes me right to my screen. So I'm showing that I have 13.4 in width, which is what I am showing down there. I'm going to zoom in because this is going to make it a little bit easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually mirror this. When I start working with a pattern, I'm going to flip it back around.
Kelly, can you bring Vector Cut onto your screen?
Sure.
Can you drag it onto this?
Here I am talking this, but we can't see it. How do I drag it?
Or share your screen one more time and then select the Vector Cut window.
Yeah. Okay. Look at it. So it's telling me stop screen. How do I maybe just cancel out of that?
There you go. Can you share it now?
Nope.
That's okay. Just go ahead and send your design to cut.
I am talking about it. Can't see what's going on. Okay, I'm quickly moving this. I wonder, do you think it's because I clicked one screen?
I'm not sure. Do you have Vector Cut on your screen?
Yeah, I mean, it's just not on the,
That's okay. Just go ahead and walk through the steps and send it to cut. It's no big deal.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, right
Once
now,
they see it cutting, it'll be good.
What'd you say?
Once they see it cutting, it'll be good.
Okay, so I am. Sorry, you can see what I'm doing, but I am just realigning my letters or my designs to fit within the 13.4 inches. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send a cut. Okay. I wonder if it's because I chose to share the Google screen and I have to stop sharing that to then pull up the Vector Cut.
Probably. I appreciate you folks staying on though. Where this is a first time run for us. We practiced yesterday and this morning, but apparently we skipped actually showing the cutting process.
We should have done just a test. Like, come on, for real. It'll be fun. We'll get it figured out. Okay, so this is actually almost done. It's just going through the little lines that's going to be on the blanket.
It's just amazing to see the roll-in cut so fast because I'm not used to seeing that anymore. What speed do you have it on?
Oh, honestly. My force was at 50 because the blade and strip are new. Oh, 30 centimeters.
Per second?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a question. What is the biggest difference between the two cutters linked, which would be the GraphTech and the CE6000? So Kelly, I can answer this while you do your thing. So honestly, it's a situation where you just kind of pick your favorite brand name at this point. So GraphTech did come out with a new vinyl cutter known as the CE7000, which is definitely more advanced than the Roland GS24. I haven't had any hands-on experience with the CE7000, but I do know that they've really upped their technology with it. It can be done through Wi-Fi. You don't have to use a USB. There's more grams of force. There's an update with the optic eye in it so that it's better at reading registration marks if you're doing a print cut process. So if you're looking for an upgrade and you're kind of tossing around between the two, the CE7000 is definitely going to have some upgraded technologies to it. The Roland GS24 is also a really great cutter. As you can see, the one that Kelly's working with is the Roland GS24. And it is going to work the same way, pretty much. It's just not going to have as many updated technologies as the CE7000. So it still has a really great downforce. I believe it's 45 grams of force is as high as you can go, which means you can cut a lot of thick materials. So that's the same thing that the GraphTech's doing. So honestly, whenever this topic comes up, it's actually a pretty funny topic between a lot of our coworkers, because some people love the Roland and some people swear by the GraphTech, but it's honestly just preference. They both can handle and do just as much as the other one can. If I had to pick one, I would choose the GraphTech. I know Kelly has the Roland, but I just love the GraphTech so much. I'm dying to work with the 7000 though.
I like the GraphTech too. I actually learned to cut on a GraphTech.
Really?
But as I was visiting with customers, more customers had a Roland, so I got a Roland in, and then I've just been playing with that. But I kind of like the buttons of the GraphTech better. But I haven't played with the 7.
It has presets. So if you're using 9 materials constantly and you can put those presets in there and not have to go in and manually change the force and the speed and the offset every single time,
yes,
then you're good to go. So, but yeah, I do want to really try out the CE7000. I'm excited to see how that works. I saw it in person last year at SGIA, or Printing United is now what the show is called.
But you didn't play with it?
Patrice says she loves watching her GraphTech cut.
Me too. It's like a washing machine. I could sit there and watch a washing machine. Like the one we have this kind of, I don't know, somehow it weighs and adjusts depending on what water. But that's kind of how. Does anybody else feel that way about washing machines? Because
I do when it cuts fast.
Okay, so I am done with the two colors and I'm going to patterns. You said you already have, did you already have this cut?
I have 2 products. Mike says I'm selling him on the Graph Tech. I will say, if you are a Mac user, Graph Tech all the way. I always forget to, like, for that light bulb to go off. If you are using Mac, Graph Tech is way easier to get set up with your Mac. Roland, it's possible, but there's a lot of loopholes that you have to go through. So just keep that in mind. If you're a Mac user, then definitely Graph Tech. Karen, the pattern is buffalo weave. All right, so this is actually, even though it's a flat, matte product, it looks textured and more like a fabric because it's just how they digitally printed it to make it look like it's more of a material on the shirt as opposed to a vinyl. So, okay.
Moving my art to this one.
And then Marianne says, I love my roll-in, but I often have trouble with the vinyl not staying in the rollers and then wasting vinyl. What is your suggestion to prevent that? So whenever, and it could either be one of 2 things. I always go, if something like that happens to me, I always assume it's something that I'm doing wrong, but you may have like totally covered your bases on this. But whenever I'm lining up my material on the roll-ins, I pay attention to where the score lines are on the front of the cutter and the back of the cutter as well, because that makes sure that my material is lined up completely straight and not off a little bit. Because if that happens, then it's going to unroll from the pinch roller. It's going to start like rolling away, and then it comes out, and then you waste a bunch of material. So if it's not that, then I'm not sure what else it would be. That's the only thing I could think of. But if it's not that, just make sure you utilize our resources, because quality experience, our team is really good with the vinyl cutters and printers that we sell. So if it's not 100% straight, that's probably the issue. If it is, then they'll be able to kind of dive in a lot deeper with you on that issue.
How old are your rollers?
What?
Or how old is
the pinch rollers?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
So close.
That's another good point, Mike. He says make sure the roll-in pinch rollers are on the white areas. So usually if the pinch rollers aren't over top of the grips, which is what the white marks are indicating for those pinch rollers to lock the material down onto, the cutter will alert you on the screen and let you know that the pinch rollers aren't set. But if there's a chance that it's not alerting you, that could be another reason as well. And then Patrice says, I love having the presets. I only need to change anything when necessary. Well used, but not worn out blade, for example. Yep.
Okay, mine's done.
Yours is done?
I'm done cutting.
Yay. So all you have to do now is weed and mask, right?
Yep. That is correct.
All right, so while you are weeding and masking, I'm going to show the new glitter flake colors. Are you guys excited to see these? I'm like really, really excited for these glitter flake colors because they're a lot different than anything else we really have. So the first one is teak wood, and I'm gonna go full screen for a second, Kelly. So teak wood, it's a brown color, but incorporates a lot of different colors in the sparkle. So what I'm going to do is actually tear this away from the carrier so that you guys can see that a little better. So again, this is one of the new glitter flake colors, and this is called Teakwood. And when I see this glitter color, I get so excited for fall and Thanksgiving. I was telling Kelly earlier whenever we were testing out going live and everything that I just want to print like a cute like turkey SVG onto a kid's shirt with this because it's just so like fall inspired. But it has a lot of iridescent sparkle, but not only is it iridescent, kind of like some of our rainbow colors, but it also incorporates a lot of gold and champagne sparkle as well. So I am so excited about this color, and I'm going to let you guys pick later during my project which color you want me to use. We can either use Teakwood, or the other color we launched is called Harvest Red, and I'm really excited about this one too. So I just like glitter, if you can't tell already. So this is this is Harvest Red. And it kind of has some like orange tones to it. But if you look real close, you can see green specks in it too. So not only is it perfect for fall because it has an orange tint to it, but it's going to be great for the winter holidays like Christmas. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is some green speck in there that is going to look so perfect for Christmas-inspired designs. All right, you guys are going to pick later which color I should use on the project that we are going to be doing. So those are the two new colors. If you guys haven't seen them on the website, they are live now. So go ahead and get yourselves a yard cut and start creating samples so that you guys can show your customers and get some orders with these new colors. All right. Everyone is commenting how beautiful the colors are. Yes, I'm so excited for them. I'm glad you guys are as excited as I am. Mike. Yes, Patrice. That's what I like about it because there's so many glitter colors out there, but how can we make something that's different than everything else? And I feel like we definitely achieved that with these two colors and some of the other ones that we have launched recently as well. All right, Kelly, how's it going on your end?
The blanket is almost done, at least the black portion of the artwork. And then the green should be extremely easy because it is basically lines. But so what all have you cut so far? So you said that you did UltraWeed black for the blanket. Yep.
It's all weeded.
And sorry, what did you say?
Is it all weeded? There it is.
So right. There we go. This is the black, so it says Jasper Bulldogs. The plaid will go right here at the bulldog, and then the green will go in between the lines. So we'll just leave that there. I feel like I'm in a corner. Just like trying to show you everything that I'm doing.
You're doing great, especially for your first Facebook Live. This is awesome.
I just feel like I'm across the street, you know?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Tori says that will be really cool. I'm really excited to see how they both turn out. I really like the artwork that you created for this. So once again, as she mentioned earlier, if you guys are just now joining, just to recap a little bit of where we're at, we did pick a buffalo plaid pattern, and we just wanted to see different ways that we could use this pattern to reach different markets. So Kelly is going for the spirit wear market, and she's going to do that's like a football or tailgate blanket, if you will, that is fleece. And then she's going to do an oversized crew neck sweatshirt. So she's going to do more on the spirit wear side, and she's doing mixed media with our favorite heat transfer vinyl, CAD-CUT UltraWeed, and then I'm going to do some stuff more on the crafting side. Because whenever I think about buffalo plaid, it's an overall great pattern that people are incorporating into their artwork more and more in spirit wear, in boutique custom tees and styles like that, and then also in accessories. So I'm going to be on the accessory side of things, and also spirit wear too. So just honestly, we want to bring inspiration to you guys with all the different patterns that are out there. Especially one like this that we are seeing all the time, especially around the holidays. And now is the time to start incorporating that and showing people what you can do for the holidays. This is always going to be, I shouldn't say always, it could totally change next year. But for this year, this is going to be a hot seller.
I just feel like buffalo plaid is something that you can start wearing now. Like August hits and you can wear a little bit of it. And then you can wear it all the way through Christmas, January. You could probably creep into February with Valentine's Day and you can like pops of pink with it. But I mean, it's one of those patterns that you can wear half of the year.
Absolutely. And I'm starting to see that same thing trend with leopard as well.
Oh, yes. Leopard doesn't. I thought it was going to start like leaving, like making its way out of trends, and I feel like it just came back with a vengeance in different colors.
It did.
Okay.
So we're getting a lot of love. Cassandra says you're doing a great job. She says you're doing great. Hi, Veronica. Thanks for joining.
Okay. So this line, I gotta find a center. This line will go on the blanket, and then I just did a jumbo for the sweatshirt. It might be too jumbo, but
jumbo prints are a thing.
Sometimes I do artwork too small, and then I'm mad because I could have made it, a half an inch bigger. But
I'm the exact opposite. I actually always make artwork too large.
Do you?
Some of my left chest logos are like covering the whole left chest, and it's just not how it's supposed to be.
So I got in the artwork that I'm doing for the CAD color. I think I might be one of those. It's like, man, those are some massive logos, but it's fine. It's all good. It's good.
So there's actually an ultimate guide to design size and placement that we do that I'm going to pop on the screen for you guys really quick so that you guys don't have to make a mistake that we do in oversizing or not making designs large enough. Let me add this to the stream real quick. So if you go to our website, and we'll be sure to share the link for you guys, just fill out your information. And this will get you the free downloadable PDF that goes over placement, design size, depending on the different sizes or location of your garments and accessories. I mean, there's so much good information in there. So just keep this in mind. This is a really great resource, especially if you're getting into accessories you're not used to printing or even location. Because whenever I first started pressing left chest logos, and I know I talk to you guys about it all the time, I hate placing those. And I was actually just telling people in my webinar on Monday, I actually prefer laying out the t-shirt or the polo flat on a table, taking thermo tape and like taping it in place and then keep pressing it just to make sure that I get it right.
I exact same way.
Yeah. Now, if you're somebody that's constantly doing it, you get an eye for it and you're just like, oh, I can do this like no other. All right, so what's that? What are you doing now?
Okay, so my pattern is completely redid. I think Express Print is so easy to read. And of course, these are just solid, like this is just solid art, so there are no cavities to go in. And then I'm taking the masking tape and then I'm going to just place it on top and then smooth it out with a squeegee. One thing that I was saying, just remember if you haven't used patterns before, that you have to unmirror your art if your art was mirrored before. Otherwise, you're going to be placing your logo on your garment backwards. So because this doesn't have a carrier, I then have to put a carrier, so I'm going to mask my pattern and then peel, and then we'll have two ready to go.
So the masking is actually, we make it pretty easy on our website. If you're ordering patterns with us, we will recommend which masking goes with whatever pattern type that you're selecting. So if you're not familiar with our patterns just yet, we offer them 4 different ways. 2 heat transfer vinyl types, 1 matte, 1 glitter, and then we do it in sign vinyl and sublimation. Sublimation patterns don't need a mask, but the other 3 do. So anytime, based on the pattern finish that you're getting, we will recommend which mask to pair with that. So the one that Kelly's using, since she's just working with the matte pattern known as Express Print, she's using the medium tack magic mask. So just keep that in mind. That's where the masking comes from. And that will just kind of help you understand which one to order, because it'll populate right on the screen for you.
Okay, so I'm just turning these down now, and then I'm going to separate the mask from the, what would you call that? What is that back first?
Sometimes I peel the back first. Other times I don't.
Oh, before you weed?
Oh, no, I must have misunderstood you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm like, what? Like, is there a tip and trick that I don't know about? Okay.
So Cassandra asked, is the mask reusable? So we do have a reusable mask. It's the high tack mask, and people use that for masking pre-cut numbers and letters for sim stitch. You can actually use that mask up to 7 times. I've never tested reusing medium tack magic mask. Kelly, I'm not sure if you have or have had success with it, but there is a mask out there that is reusable. It's the high tack, but it only works with some products. I would only recommend that with like glitter or sim stitch or anything like that.
Hold on. So I'm gonna lay the logos on top of each other. That way you can see what the final design is going to look like before I take it over there. I just start sticking to everything. So give me. Okay, so this is not centered, but this is what our art looks like with everything.
It's gonna look so good. I'm excited.
Me too. So before we went live, I had talked to Jenna about potentially doing this outline in a glitter flake, just so you can have a little bit more of a contrast, and then you can mix with textures. But I'll show you what it looks like once we get it applied, and then this is terrible. Can you see it? And then I'll show you ways that you can kind of interchange material to kind of change up the look. Oh, here. We'll just take it off the corner. And then let's take bulldogs. Here.
Texas Q is making me laugh. They asked if I got a tan.
What'd you say?
Texas Q asked if I got a tan.
You're always tan.
It's summer. I've been in the pool a lot, so yes. And then they had a question and said, I bought a printed vinyl. How would you heat press that to a garment like a face mask? So as long as the face mask is not a material that would not work with the print. Well, actually, let me ask you this question. What printed vinyl was it? Was it from us or was it somewhere else? Because that will help me be able to better answer your question. So Typically, it will adhere to just about any face mask if it's our pattern. As long as it's cotton poly blends, they will also adhere to tri-blends or even spandex, but you risk the chance of it not stretching with the spandex. But as long as it's a cotton or cotton poly blend, which most face masks have been, unless it is a neck and face gaiter, which are typically 100% polyester, but it would still work. Just keep in mind that patterns do apply at 300 degrees. So you just want to make sure you're not compromising the overall look of the mask just to get a pattern on there. But I bet that would look really cool, patterns on face masks.
Be a good way to customize it without buying a pattern mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the full, it's not lined up perfectly, but just to give you an idea, this is what is going on the blanket. So again, you could change the green to maybe be a neon green. There's just so many ways that you could manipulate this art and really just change it by using the same template. So I'm ready to apply. Jenna, do you want me to apply? Do you like what do you
No, we need to see how these designs turn out, Kelly.
What's on the agenda now? Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do the hoodie first. I'm gonna pre-press it. I did not check my pressure, so I'll need to check that as well. Oh, nope, too light.
Tell us a little bit about the press you're working with.
So I am using an auto clam. This is one of my favorites, too much. And right now, can I see? Yeah, yeah. I am just adjusting the pressure by this little knob. But then what you can barely see is up here is every time I go to push the lever down, I have a little section that's going to tell me what my pressure read out is. So right now I'm at a 6. It is medium. Alrighty, so I am going to apply the, I'm going to apply the green first. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it is the larger design. And for me personally, it's going to be easier to go in and then place this in the center of it. Now, what I normally do is find the two first pieces, and then I crease down the middle. And then, because there is a little triangle right here on this hoodie, I'm just going to try to follow that straight up to the best of my ability. I'm going to wiggle this art design up because I am, just because you have this triangle, if I put it too far down, then it's going to just be in the middle of the chest, and it's a little bit higher up. But Jenna and we both said that we like to see where the logo is, so I'm going to pull it off a little bit and wiggle her up just a little bit more. Okay, the perfectionist in me comes out, and it's going to drive me crazy. Okay. So I'm going to tack this down for 5 seconds. I'm on 300 degrees. With UltraWeed, you can go as low as 260, but because this is a sweatshirt, I'm just going to keep it at 300. And then with my express print applying 300, just an easy transition. But if I was on a lightweight poly that's scorched, then I would definitely take this temperature down. Okay, pulling it down, it's going to tell me 5, 4, 3, 2, and then it's going to pop up. And then UltraWeed is a top field. Keeps popping up the calendar, so that's good. And then I am going to apply pattern. Keep going on. Again, I'm just gonna match up where the furthest point is. I don't really need to do the center, but my mind is easier if I can. And this, even with the medium tack, it's still extremely sticky.
I agree. The medium tack Magic Mask is still really tacky. It helps because it lets you get intricate detail in patterns.
Okay, yes, and I use it, as soon as I peel it, I use it to pick up scraps.
I do too.
It's a 2-in-1. Okay, the express print is actually going to apply for 10 seconds, but with the way I have my top-down programmed on my press, it's for 5, so I am going to lift and then press down one more time. And one of the reasons why I love the auto plan is because it automatically opens. Okay, express print is a hot peel. So it gets peeled. Oh my gosh, it looks like she's in the sweatshirt. So cool. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. Can you guys see some of that texture?
Yeah, the texture looks great, especially on the sweatshirt. I'm really excited to see how the blanket turns out.
Okay.
I really like how this pattern pairs with the Kelly UltraWeed.
Me too. Oh, this looks so retro. I love it. I'm like staring at it. You want to see it?
Yes.
Like, I feel like this would be really cute on a like a leather jacket. That's the retro, but like cotton. I think you can get some like S&S, maybe Samars. You know what I'm talking about with like the stripes and everything.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is so fun. Love it. Okay. Really soft. So now we're going to do the blanket, whatever I put. Okay, for this particular case, I am choosing a corner. Like I said, it's like 50 by 70. So this thing is huge. And right now,
where did you source that one? Was that from Sanmar or S&S?
This is from S&S. The sweatshirt was $13.77 and the blanket was $5.77. So the cost of the materials and then beading, masking is about the same cost of the blanket. But you can personalize the heck out of it. So there's, one corner you could do somebody's name or family name. Don't really know where football is going to be for us this season, but if you're working from home or you are going to school, you sit outside in the fall or winter, there's no reason why I wouldn't rep, like a custom blanket, especially if it was for corporate or if it was for school. You could really go any direction, or you could just make it a really cute, fun saying like "keep me warm," or there's several that I have seen that are maybe a little more vulgar, but you get to keep me. It's nice and cozy as a word. So, all right, I'm taking her back. Oh, there's her. And I'm going to get some thermo tape because it is pulling off. Okay, I'm going to try to just do one and see if I can get it on there. Perfect. All right, so same thing. Hold on. I'm going to apply the black first on this because everything else is getting layered either on top or in between. Now, what I wanted to also do with this is actually go to about a 24-inch in length or in length logo and do a 2 hit for this, but I decided to keep it a little bit more simple and just do a single hit. You could go to the middle of the blanket and, like Jenna and I say, lay it out on the ground and then bring it up. But obviously, putting this in the corner keeps your production time a lot faster. Okay, so I am going to apply my cover sheet. Because this is a little bit stiffer of a fleece, I'm going to loosen my pressure on my press just a little bit. And I did just repress, so that's cool. So I tacked for 5 seconds. I'm going to do the pattern next because it actually needs to apply for 10 seconds. So I chose to do this one next because no matter what, I'm going to have to hit this at least two more times, and then that way that press print really adheres and I'm not just tapping it down. Okay, I'm going to apply that one for another 5 seconds. Again, this is
Thanks for joining us, Joe, Dale, and Karen. Enjoy your next session.
and then now, that's been hard. Yep. No!
What just happened? I missed it.
Well, somehow my art got adjusted. You see it? Like it's not lining up.
For the sake of time,
Yep.
I went ahead and already cut my stuff out. I had to make sure I muted myself so that the sound of the cricket didn't overpower.
Okay, guys, I am going to just apply my lines even though it's not. Let's try to recut it. Nah. Ah. All right, well.
I would just do it as is. At least the concept is there. I think it still looks cool.
The
Do you think that the artwork accidentally got resized, or do you think it was a shrinking issue?
In this particular case, I think it was resized. Because there are parts, like the P lines up pretty well done. Good. So I think something got tweaked when I was adjusting it. Okay, so I am just finalizing that hit one more time for the green. That way the green UltraWeed gets to apply fully. And then we are done. This is so soft.
It turned out really good on the fleece. I love that.
I do too. If you haven't tried UltraWeed, you really should, because even this is kind of going, it's moving with the blanket a little bit. It's not premium plus stretch, but I mean, that's probably what it's in there. I think that's how I'm going to take off. You want a flipper? Just friction my flipper. Let me see. I'm like going to the screen. I'm like, let me figure it out. Okay, so this is how it turned out. Oh, it still looks so cute though. Here we go.
So did you apply that at 300 degrees?
I did 300 degrees, and then I did each time 5 seconds, and then finished with basically a fourth. So it's 4 total hits, because with the green, I had it set for 5 seconds, where you wouldn't need to do that if you went in, it could just be 3 hits, but for time purposes, it's 5 seconds, so I didn't have a problem bringing it down twice. But, so this is my blanket.
That turned out really good. Those are the designs. So now let's conclude this a little bit. So we did the sweatshirt with a 2 color. We did the Kelly green and then the pattern.
Yep.
And you said that sweatshirt was how much?
$13.77.
$13.77. And your material cost was probably what, like $2?
I wrote it down.
Roughly.
Yep.
So I just want to know, I want to ask our viewers what you guys would sell the 2 together for, because that would be a really great way to cross-sell an accessory, like a blanket alongside, I don't know is that considered cross-sell, or maybe it's just upsell on the sweatshirt and add the blanket for like $50 for both.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can go both ways, because if you're selling somebody a sweatshirt, then most of the time that means the winter has changed, right? It's fall. You can wear this to sporting events. You can wear it at home. For kids, like they can wear it to school. If this was a fun saying, then I mean, you could just wear it wherever. But then if you did a 2 for 1, then that's just adding in product and revenue, but then you could also sell them individually because they could be used for different things.
Yeah.
I did write down, so the sweatshirt, the expensive side of the material, so if everything was patterned, so like let's say you're using a glitter plate pattern mixed with express print, then your expensive side with the cost of weeding and masking is around like $5 a logo. And then for the blanket, your expensive side is like $7. So for UltraWeed, the expensive side would be $5, and the sweatshirt is $2.50. So I mean, it's very minimal on cost. And obviously, the harder to weed the art, the more time it would take you, with your labor. But for the most part, that was pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, we added a lot of time to it by just kind of talking through the process. So Becky asked if you want to answer this question for us. She's new to this. She wants to know if she can make and sell for a college without having permission to use their logo.
So technically, no. Because you've got copyright. The school can come back. So what my recommendation would be, instead of using, say, a school logo, to use certain words or phrases.
I just like Karen's comment here. Great. And Cassandra says she wants to hop onto CADWorks and get started on some new designs. So I'm glad this got your creative juices flowing. That's what we always want to do, just with some inspiration. So what I'm working on, so I went ahead and already cut out the signed vinyl pattern, and I'm just going to put it on this mug. So you can see this is more of like a trendy type of drinkware. I'm going to go full screen here real quick.
Very long.
This is actually tin, but there is like a coating on here. The reason the coating is so important is because you want the substrate that you're putting your sign vinyl on to be completely solid. You don't want it to be porous at all. So this is perfect. This was actually sourced from Leeds. I know you can get custom stuff there, but you're already doing the customizing yourself in-house, so you can get wholesale blank goods from them as well. I'm a little worried to see how this is going to turn out, just because there's a lot of white in the buffalo plaid pattern, and I didn't use a really thick design, so the name might get a little bit lost. A best practice for this can be just adding a solid or contrast color to it to really bring out the pattern a little bit more, similarly to how Kelly did whenever she used the Kelly green and the black. So I'm really just wrapping this around, and the reason I'm going so close to the handle is because whenever they're holding it, I want this to be able to be seen as opposed to just being on the front side of it. So now I'm just going around it, and I can also use my squeegee to get into some of those like intricate edges and cavities, just making sure that that's on there really good. So I am using a good bit of pressure here. And now I can just go ahead and take that masking and remove that.
Love it.
Yeah, it did turn out good. Again, I would like to have a solid, probably contour, like a gap outline a little bit. But overall, I think it did turn out really good. And I just love the texture of this pattern. I know I keep repeating that, but it looks like I have a fabric on this mug as opposed to just a flat sign vinyl. All right, so that turned out really good. Now, if you guys are using sign vinyl on drinkware, just be aware that this is not dishwasher safe. So if you're giving this to a customer, you want to make sure that they are hand washing only with the sign vinyl. Now, if you are doing the epoxy process, where maybe you're putting our sign vinyl onto tumblers and other stuff like that, then no worries, it could be a dishwasher, but I don't work with epoxy. I'm sure some of you do. If you're more into the crafty side of drinkware and things like that, then that would be a really good way to just kind of cure that on there. And then you won't have to worry about your customers having that come off in the wash for them. All right. So our first accessory is done. All right. So that is another way that you can use our patterns. The next accessory we're going to do is this wristlet, and we're going to sublimate this. So I absolutely love this wristlet. It was sourced from Coastal Business. They have a lot of great sublimation blanks. And what I love about this is that while it's 100% polyester, it feels more like a nice fabric canvas. And it really allows the vibrancy of sublimation to really come through. That was the concern that I had with this blanket first, is that because it was so textured and it was more of a canvas-like feel, maybe the sublimation wasn't going to pop as much on it. But I did test this out last week for another video that we did, and it did turn out just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my, hi Kelly. Hi. Share my heat press screen with you there. And we're gonna go ahead and sublimate this. So whenever you're working with sublimation, just always make sure that you are protecting your accessories and your heating elements. We are going to need a heat printing pillow for this application because there is hardware on this that can cause uneven pressure. And one thing to note about sublimation is you need to make sure you have your accessory or item that you're sublimating completely flat. And this pillow is going to allow that to happen because this zipper and thick seam up here is actually going to sink down in, but leave the print area raised. Now, I do need to do a test. I'm covering that pillow just to make sure I don't get any sublimation on that. And I'm going to test my pressure. I should be at a medium pressure for sublimation. My temperature is set at 385 degrees, and I'm going to apply this for 40 seconds. So this is the same pattern, and probably the first thing you'll notice while it's on the sublimation sheet is that it is a little bit diluted looking. But that's just the nature of sublimation ink once it's been printed, that it looks a little diluted on the paper, but then it comes out very vibrant whenever it's applied. Right, and now I'm just feeling around to make sure my accessory is definitely on that pillow so that we get a nice overall print. And now I can just go ahead and lock this down. Now, one of the major concerns with sublimation is ghosting. So that is a concern for you. What ghosting is if the paper happens to shift whenever you are locking that design in place. It will create a ghosted effect or a double print. So if you want to avoid that, our thermo tape really, really helps for that. So just keep that in mind. There are accessories that will help for that. Karen asked, where did you get the blank cosmetic case? Again, that was from Coastal Business. All right, we'll go ahead and remove that. Looks like I didn't get even pressure over here, so my sublimation didn't fully adhere there. Now, while I press the other side, what I want you guys to help me choose is which color I should personalize with. Do you think I should use the Harvest Red? There's that again. And this is what it would look like on the pattern. And then we have teak wood as well that we can apply on top of that. And that'll just add some more prop opportunity. That one doesn't show up as much, but gives you two totally different overall looks. If you guys like the tonal look, the teak wood would look nice on there as well.
Yeah, they're saying red.
Red? Okay. We will do red.
Oh, and Styled by Me asked what font was used on the can mug.
On the mug?
Yep.
I believe that is called Honey Jar, but I will confirm right after I apply this. It's on CAD-Works.
Oh, it is? Well, very much.
Well, it's not. I uploaded it as a personal font. Okay. I probably could have used a bigger pillow for this, but unfortunately, I do not have the pillow size that I really need for this application. Sorry, that took me a long time to even think about what I was going to say. Okay, so this font is called, let's see, I'm in CAD-Works now. Let me add text. It's probably right in front of me and I'm overlooking it. Okay, at the moment, I cannot find it, but I will make sure to comment on this broadcast later and let you know what it was. Okay. All right, so back to the heat press. All right, so this, we'll go ahead and remove. That side turned out really well. I'm gonna hold that up close so that you guys can see how nice that texture is on there. And the pattern just looks really, really good on this type of canvas fabric. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and apply our glitter flake. And for this, I need to get a cover sheet. And that's what I love, once again, about the craft paper, is that it's an easy throwaway, and it's perfect for doing sublimation. So what I'm doing at the moment is just covering all my bases here to make sure I don't get sublimation transferred to anything. So I'm going to put a cover sheet over top of my pillow. And I'm going to place my design with my glitter flake. This red really pops off of this pattern nicely. And then we'll cover with one more cover sheet and lock that down. So once again, I'm just feeling around to make sure my wristlet is definitely on the pillow. Really, we're not worried about the sublimation at this point, but just the center so that we can get the glitter flake applied accurately. And I know we're at the temperature of sublimation, but I'm just going to apply this for 10 seconds because glitter flake only requires a 10-second application. And then we can go ahead and hot fill that. It is really hot. All right, so the overall finish looks great. This is definitely a really nice product for the holidays. And I love that it's a harvest red as opposed to a true red, because this could be sold for around Christmas time as a gift, or it can be sold during the fall season as well. And I hope that you guys can get a good look at the glitter sparkle and different colored specks that are in that harvest red, because it looks so nice.
Jenna, I haven't got my roll yet. Does it pull more? It looks more orange. I know we were talking about this because of lights. For me, viewing it, it looks a little bit more like a deep orange. Do you see that, or is it?
Yes, yeah. So I do see a very nice like orange tint to it, but up close in person, it looks red.
Cool.
But I mean, on the screen, it is looking orange, but based on, you know, how the light is hitting it, it can take on two totally different colors. And I think that that's another reason why this color is so awesome and unique and not something that you can find just anywhere. And then I don't know what I did with the, here it is. This little string, like wristlet cuff, comes with the bag as well inside. So just keep in mind that that hardware is in there before you go to heat press this, or else you'll probably have a damaged item whenever you try to heat apply it. So
Yeah, wholesale boutique.
This is from Coastal Business. All right. So these could be easily paired together. I didn't do my homework like you did. I didn't get pricing on everything, but I would probably sell these together for like $28.
Yeah.
The mug's probably not going to go for that much by itself. This would probably go for $18 by itself. So I would say $28 to $30 for both of these would be a good sell point. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. You guys know what sell prices things should be set at better than I can. I don't have real customers. All right, so looks like we're getting a lot of great feedback. Thank you guys so much. Very pretty, thank you.
This is
Love it. Ordering. Jan says, ordering the new glitter flake colors. Yay.
They're beautiful.
All right, so it doesn't look like we really have any questions. Hopefully I was able to answer most of them while I was heat printing. Mike asked, Jenna, do you miss the larger heat press? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, I love the pink heat press. I think it's perfect for the confined space that I am in at home. But I get a little jealous when I get to watch Kelly's on her glam and do like an oversized print on a sweatshirt. I'm like, oh, I wish I still could use those. But yes, I do miss them, only because I liked doing like the oversized prints and the unique placements, and something like that is a little bit harder to do, not only because you would have to hit it twice if it's larger than a 9x12, but sometimes it's hard to tell on such a small platen if you're doing a larger item, if it's lined up right.
Yeah.
So I have to do the whole process where I lay it out flat on a table or the floor, any type of flat surface, and place it and then try to heat apply it. So it's a little bit of a process, but I'm getting used to it at this point. But it's a great starter heat press.
Going through the comments.
Where did the cup come from? This is from Leeds, right? And Russ, I see your comment.
You may read it.
Trying to remember, I'm trying to find the original.
You know, when layering colors, is it okay to put the neck sheet over vinyl that has already been applied? I've been cutting the excess from the neck sheet to apply so that the blank sticky part does not touch vinyl that has already been put down.
It is okay for the carrier to overlap as long as the first color has already been beautified. So for example, and I hope I'm answering or understanding the question correctly, if you're, let's see, if I were layering this on top of UltraWeed, for example, I'm gonna lay down the UltraWeed, tack that, and then lay this down over top of it and apply for the full application. It's okay that this is overlapping the other color. It's not gonna damage it at all. The only time it hurts if it's laying over top is if you're applying two different colors at once and they're really close together. That's when you definitely would want to trim up the carrier. Did you understand that the same way, Kelly, that question?
I did, yeah. The only other way I took it was once you've applied one vinyl, if you put the carrier on top of the other. But yeah, I mean, as long as if one is adhered, then you can definitely put vinyl. I'm hoping that's how he was taking it.
Right. And I just went ahead and commented in where the source of the cup is. It's called Leeds. It's spelled Leeds, also known as PCNA. But I commented in, so hopefully you guys can see that. And Becky says, my A to Z is being delivered today, and I'm so excited. Becky, finally, I feel like I've been pushing for you to get this press for like a month or two at this point. So Becky, I'm really, really excited for you. You're going to love that heat press. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us and sticking on with us for an hour and 15 minutes. It has been a wild ride.
We got through it.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us on your first Facebook Live. We hope to see your face more in the future on these. And I appreciate you guys for sticking around for these two really cool project concepts using just one pattern. Hopefully this pulled some inspiration for you guys. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and comment those in. We will revisit the broadcast later and make sure we have any questions we may have missed answered. But you guys enjoy the rest of your week and have a great weekend. We will see you next time.